Hi, guys. Today we're diving into the wild, dramatic, and totally epic tale of Mekatilili Wa Menza. But I'm going to be telling it a bit differently, and that is from the perspective of a hand. Now, before you ask, I didn't get some magical history power that made Mekatilili's hand talk to me. I just wanted an interesting take on sharing African culture. That's it. Now, Mekatilili's story isn't just about a slap. Although let's be real, that slap was iconic. It's about a woman who stood up literally and figuratively against the British Empire and then took charge of her people's fate. But to really understand her power, you have to understand the context. And I usually wonder what makes a person rise up like that? What gives them the courage to challenge something as massive as colonization? Now, let's talk about this hand for a moment, because trust me, it's got more than just slapping skills. It was the hand that helped deliver one of the most powerful symbols of resistance in Giriama history. And it wasn't just a slap. This was a symbol of defiance. When Mekatilili slapped British Administrator Arthur Champion, it wasn't just some random act. It was a statement. So as I tell this story, you're going to see how that one moment spiraled into something even bigger than a slap. It sparked a war and it inspired a movement. And most importantly, it was the hand of somebody who was not afraid to take charge. Mekatilili didn't just change the course of history. She made sure the world will remember her with one simple act. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Why is a hand telling this story? Well, let me tell you something. I was right there, and we're going way back for this one. Mekatilili, or Meka as I was fond of calling her, wasn't always the legendary freedom fighter that we know of today. Before she was out here using me to slap British officials and leading rebellions, she was just a young girl. And like most of us, she was probably dreaming about who she would become, probably thinking about family life, and maybe trying to figure out how to beat that one sibling at hide and seek. Now, this is where it gets real. Meka had a family, but she lost her parents when she was young, and then her brother was kidnapped by the Arab slave traders. I think this is the first time that I can remember when I balled up into a fist. Anyway, we grew older and I got good at shaking hands, pointing dramatically, cooking ugali, the usual hand stuff. Meka became a regular woman in a regular village, married to a regular guy, and had a son named Katilili. But life had other plans, widowhood. And she found herself with more freedom than she had expected. So there she was, widowed, raising Katilili, and suddenly, boom, she's out here leading her people in ways that make every inspirational speaker look like they're still on page 1 of How to Lead 101. And this is where it gets interesting. Mekatilili didn't just have any ordinary family vibes. Nah, she had something extra, like something mysterious. You see, guys used to say that she had these powers. And I'm not talking about the kind you see in superhero movies, but something rooted in Giriama spirituality. These powers, they came straight from the Kaya, which are the sacred shrines of the Giriama people. But when the British were like, hey, let's move these people off their land, and they were all like, hey, pay this annoying hard tax, Meka, she called for action. And by action, I mean I was raised in the air at every meeting. You bet I was involved. Every time she did the Kifudu funeral dance, I was right there, slapping, pointing, making sure we're all on the same page. We had to resist and we did it in style. Now this is where things get real juicy. This guy, this British administrator named Arthur Champion, decides to hold a meeting to convince the Giriama youth to join the British Army. The nerve. I walk into the meeting holding a hen and her chicks. And long story short, I challenge that British idiot to snatch a chick from me. And what does he do? He shoots the mother hen right in front of everyone. I slapped him. I slapped him so hard that even the British Empire felt it. That slap wasn't just a slap, it was a warning. You don't mess with the Giriama people. And I, as her hand, was the one to deliver that message. And just like that, war broke out. There was a little bit of chaos and a little bit of, oops, what have we done? But, eh. Thinking about it, I know we would have gone viral. The slap heard all around Kenya. I can even imagine having comments from the likes of Mansa Musa, Shaka Zulu, even Cleopatra. Yeah, I know they weren't there when this happened at that time, but just go with the flow and imagine with me for a sec that they would have what they would have said. Better yet, just read the screenshots on the screen. Anyhow, back to the story. Mecca gets arrested. I mean, of course she did. After all, I slapped a British administrator in front of an audience, and they throw us into prison. But here is where the plot thickens. I was still there when we pulled off one of the greatest escapes of all time. And guess what? We walked. Yep, walked over 700 kilometers to Kilifi. Did anyone see us? No. How did we do it? Not saying. I've heard rumors where some say that Mecca used her incredible oratory skills to distract the guards, and others have said we used the combat skills we gained from dodging nonsense our entire life. Either way, guess who was leading the way? Me, of course. Humble brag, but the escape wouldn't have been possible without the sheer force of my involvement. With each escape, I can just see us empowering the masses, breaking the internet, and making middle aged white men cry while at it. Eventually, they caught us again, obviously. But did we give up? Nope. I wasn't giving up, and Mecca wasn't giving up. When we were caught again and sent to Somalia, we escaped again. This time, the British were so distracted with World War I that they just left us alone. Sadly, Mecca passed away in the 1920s, but not before she left an indelible mark on history and me on someone's face. She wasn't just a freedom fighter, she was the definition of resilience. So the next time you feel like you can't do something, remember Mekatilili Wa Menza. You got this. I hope you enjoyed listening to this video as much as I enjoyed making it. So hit that like button, subscribe, and comment below with your favorite moment from this legendary story. Who should we do next? Who else should we break down from African history? Let me know in the comments. Keep the drum beats alive, my friends.